Be sailing down the Nile, if I heard correctly.
That's right. I'm sure it will be an amazing experience.
But you don't seem to be very excited.
Oh, but I am. It's very generous of Lady Westmacott to invite me, and especially Matty. He'll learn a lot.
But?
Well, Professor Lucien offered to join us.
Then Matt will learn even more. And I'm sure it won't be unpleasant for you either.
No, I just don't know how Matty would react if Edgar came with us.
I understand. I could test the water to see how he'd feel about it.
Would you do that? Oh, thank you, Constable Zellner.
Were you able to find out why Professor Lucien left the forecastle so suddenly last night?
No, not really. We only had a brief conversation. He was still very nervous.
He was like that on the train as well. Seems to be typical of him.
It must be something to do with the burglary at the museum. It really But he told me not to worry about anything. He said, soon this would all be over.
Really? How did...
Oh,
Are there other passengers from the ship here?
Oh, yes, we arrived at David Kreutzer, the violinist, was with us. So were Miss Myers and Mr. Inch. He seems to have gotten over the death of the Baroness pretty quickly. He seems positively relaxed.
I've met him. He looks on the bright side of life, so to speak.
He's over in the treasure chamber. Maddie is downstairs in the main hall. I'm afraid I'll hear the sound of something priceless shattering any second.
Matt will be careful, Miss. I'll continue my...
Cero localización.
Mr. Kreutzer will provide the background music tonight at the opening. Does he have anything else on his agenda? How are the acoustics, Mr. Kreutzer?
Average. I wouldn't have expected anything else from a big stone cavern.
How does it feel to have been accused of murder and to escape by the skin of your teeth? The whole thing could have had a bad ending for you. You didn't have an alibi. It was your gun.
I must admit that I can imagine better ways to spend my time than being roughed up by Inspector Legrand. Your snooping actually paid off for me this time. Did you ever suspect me?
Of murder? No. I think you're too intelligent to shoot someone with your own gun without arranging an alibi for the time of the crime. It seems like a lot of the passengers from the ship are here this morning.
Nearly all of them. I had a brief conversation with the Baroness's butler. Between you and I, he seems quite happy to be rid of the old battleship.
Mr. Kreutzer.
Young Miss Mayers was here as well. Unfortunately, it seems like she's already disappeared again.
Forget it. She's engaged.
And the old witch with her caretaker and her brat are also here.
What do you have against Lady Westmacott?
The lady is more callous than the Queen of the Night. She chased her own son away. Ice cold. I met him briefly. Flew to America because he couldn't stand her anymore.
Did any of the guests behave suspiciously? Was anyone unusually interested in the treasure chamber?
I couldn't say. I'm here to check the acoustics and then I'll come back for the gala tonight. I'm not interested in your detective games.
The newspaper this morning is full of reports about the events on board.
I've seen them.
Someone must have informed the press directly from the ship. He probably got a pile of money for the story, don't you think?
And again, they want to ruin my reputation. But no, Constable, it wasn't me. I didn't even consider it. And whoever did it was a bungler.
Why?
The story is in all the papers. You get more money if you sell the dirt to just one paper, as an exclusive.
Who do you think it was?
The young guy? The stowaway?
The captain didn't press charges and let him go this morning. But up until then, he was in the cell the whole time.
Perhaps Miss Mayers. Maybe she wants to become an actress and needs a bit of publicity.
Whoever it was, they want... Well,
It will be...
I can't it shows that's the... I don't believe that Legrand spoke to the... He doesn't seem to... Ancient Egyptian jewelry. I like that golden signet ring. In ancient, I suppose the Beatles don't really care. Well-trained guards are usually the best security system, although they didn't manage to stop the Raven in London. The guard... well... exclusive and unique. The eyes of the Sphinx exhibited together for the first time ever. Hopefully. Unfortunately, now it's just the... But it's a bit too late to change the banner. That must be the treasure chamber where the Eye of the Sphinx is due to be exhibited. The display case is already prepared.
No, sir.
I'm from the Swiss police. I want to check the security arrangements.
No one may enter the treasure chamber before the delivery has arrived.
Several daggers in a row. The shapes and what does it... The dagger on the left is a replica of the dagger from the tomb of Tutankhamun. It must have been incredibly precious during his lifetime because it's made of iron. Thousands of years before the Ice Age, meteorites were the only source of pure iron. So a star that fell from the sky, bringing a substance that's harder than anything they'd known before, would have been a dramatic event. No wonder they used it to forge a weapon for the godlike pharaoh. Impressive, isn't it? Thousands of years old and still beautiful.
That it is. They dug it out of the sand near Thebes over 50 years ago. I was there.
Really?
I met my husband there. He was an assistant on the dig and was ordered by the director of the excavation to take care of that writer. I financed many excavations in the following years, here in Egypt and in the Near East. I visited my husband, together with our son. It was the best time of my life. But a museum is no place for nostalgia. What can I do for you?
You've had a long and successful life.
What's that supposed to mean, Mr. Zellner? That I should be ready to leave the stage? Because I'm not.
Oh, I didn't want...
I'm here because life is here, Constable. Or what? I have never lived as much. No fame, no money.
I understand.
I'm sorry. Let's talk about some...
Your son. You haven't said much about him. Or perhaps you did. Just not by name.
You're an attentive listener, Mr. Zellner.
I was wondering why you knew so much about Miss Miller's
I stopped paying his bar tabs. Stopped paying reporters to hush things up. He got to know her and went with her to America to start a new life. You can change your name easily. He has my eyes, doesn't he?
The Part 2 novel is for him.
If I couldn't provide Matthew with a good father, then at least I can provide him with a good start in life.
When I was working on the ship, I felt like one of the detectives in your novels.
You were lucky. It was an unusual murder. Most murders happen in the heat of the moment or are committed by idiots. They're uninspired. But Gebhardt thought it through. He could have succeeded.
I don't know. He made too many mistakes.
Yeah.
He couldn't have known that the Baroness, almost unconscious from the drugs, would lock her cabin door.
But that was a risk. The plan was too complicated.
You certainly are a harsh critic, Mr. Zellner.
He could have
Yeah.
shot her on the side deck and thrown the weapon into the sea. With no witnesses, no one would have suspected him.
How boring.
Or if it had to be a complicated plan, then he should have worked more carefully. Should have thought of everything, had a plan B in place.
Maybe he didn't have enough time. He had only a few hours to plan and commit the murder.
Still, he should have covered his tracks more carefully. The audio tape, the bloody glove, none of that should have stayed in the medical center. Do you think that Dr. Gebhardt was the Raven?
Was? Do you think he's dead?
The letter sounded like he committed suicide.
There's your answer. Does that sound like the Raven? Being unmasked? Taking the easy way out?
My sentiments exactly. The Raven wouldn't commit murder, get caught, and then jump into the sea.
You don't want everything to be over, do you?
It's my chance to do something great. It can't be over yet.
At least you solved the murder of the Baroness. You're a hero.
That's not how the newspapers see it. Nor I. Something's missing.
Careful, Constable. He who flies...
Is that the myth of Icarus?
To be honest, no. The story is Greek, and was only written down 1,000 years later. I was counting on the dramatic effect.
Oh, worked well enough. Let's assume that the thief is still out there.
If all this were a novel, then it would be the one you least expect.
Is that intended to be a confession, Lady Westmacott?
What do we know about the new Raven?
He's a man who would stop at nothing.
Must it be a man? And how do we know that it's just one person? There could be several people collectively pretending to be the Raven.
So, we don't know anything.
That's not completely true. We know that he or she wants the Eye of the Sphinx, and will probably strike here, assuming he or she hasn't already gone.
It may be the end of the story for me, Lady Westmacott. Inspector Legrand will arrive soon and send me to the hotel. I return tonight for the gala, hoping all the while that the Raven does dare to attempt a burglary. Tomorrow morning, I'll have to return to Switzerland. What an unsatisfactory...
It wouldn't be a triumphant ending, but it could be worse. At least you'd still be alive, Constable.
Will you attend the gala tonight, Lady Westmacott?
But of course, the antiquities, the delightful atmosphere, and who knows, perhaps there will be another...
And your cruise?
The ship doesn't leave until tomorrow, and believe me, I'd cancel the cruise for this.
As always, it was an entertaining and enlightening...
I'm going to miss our little chats, Constable Zellner. Goodbye.
She's reliving her memories. Ahoy, Matt.
The statue was talking.
The statue was talking?
Yes.
And what did it say?
It said it was...
That's a very bad word.
I know.
And an English one. Don't you think it's odd that an old Egyptian statue speaks English?
Don't you think it's odd that a statue speaks at all?
That would have been my next question. And, is the statue talking to...
Do you think I'm nuts?
No, of course not. I just thought you might have much better ears than me. Ears that can hear statues.
Some cop you are, Mr. Zellner. This is a mystery, and you're just making a joke.
You're right.
Don't you believe?
We both agree that a stone statue without a mouth... Okay.
Roger. Yeah,
You don't sound...
I think my mom wants the professor to come.
And you don't? You can't tell me.
What if Mom marries the professor and doesn't work with the lady anymore? We'd have to move to London, and I'd have to go to a new school.
You could tell your mother that it's not okay with you. She'd never do anything against your will, would she?
I guess you're right. If I'm stubborn enough, she'll definitely send the professor packing. Thanks!
This will all be over soon. Then I'll finally have time for you.
We wanted to head back to the hotel.
Certainly. And tonight at the gala, I'll show you around the museum, okay? And have you made up your mind about the cruise?
Well, I don't really know.
I only see you on vacation, Mom. And now you want the professor to come too? So I'll see you even less?
You're right. I'm sorry, Professor Lucien. I think it's best if you don't join us.
But Mary...
Professor, are you coming?
Maybe we can talk about this again tonight.
Should we go back to the hotel?
I want ice cream. Actually, Mr. Zellner still owes me some.
A great moment. Professor Lucien, your key, please.
Yes. Well,
Come on, Professor.
but you have to realize that...
Thank you.
Finally. But...
Professor?
I wanted to give you this. Well, after the burglary in London, I thought the Eye might not be safe on its way to Egypt. So I secretly took it when I was supposed to place it in the safe in London.
How dare you?
I felt that I should leave the jewel to someone I trusted completely. Myself.
But the jewel was safe. From London to here, no one had an opportunity to steal it.
I beg your pardon, my dear colleague. But if that were true, I wouldn't have had it.
Congratulations, Professor Lucien. You fooled everyone, it seems. The honor is yours.
Well, that's that. Shall I explain the security system to you, Inspector?
The French ambassador summoned me. I have to get in touch with him. The press is besieging the embassy.
What you...
I will... Zellner, will you have a look at the security precautions? We'll see each other tonight.
Of course, but
Wait, Inspector.
Well, the inspector...
I want... How is the...
It's... But
Is the display case anchored to the floor?
why do you...
The raven.
Son...
What's that? A camera? I've heard of...
That's...
Wow.
As I've said, we've spared no effort and no expense.
Many people, as usual, an ornamental representation of... What's in the other display cases?
Now...
Yeah.
This here, the gate. How does it work?
If the alarm is set off, the metal gate descends. The same thing happens at the windows and the main entrance. The thing...
As are we.
Next, I'll show you our guard room, the heart of the whole security system. And after that, I'll have to excuse myself.
Alert the guards. Then call the French embassy. Legrand needs to come. We're being locked out. Here, have a seat and try to calm down. Director Mokhtar? Director, how can I open the
He shouldn't have done that.
Director!
All the artifacts in the treasure chamber. He destroyed...
And I will bring him to justice. But first I have... He's pale and shaking, probably in shock. Perhaps I'll get something out of him in a... He's perhaps... I mean, the chamber was filled with... The gate is massive. The... This shows how the ancient Egyptians were able to move the heavy blocks of... They used these none. This security gate is also closed. Once the alarm went off, no one could have left through the official exits. I'll leave the gate closed. I'll leave... Constable Oliver!
Don't move!
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. But I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna arrest you.
We have to open the treasure chamber's gate. I suspect there's a secret entrance.
No. We should open the main entrance and call for help.
Robert, think. The Raven is inside the museum, and so are we. We could the two of us can finish it here and now.
You just want to confuse me.
Robert, I don't think you knocked this man out, but neither did I. I was with the director the entire time. Ask him.
That doesn't mean you aren't involved somehow. You could be
So could you. We can suspect each other, open the exits, and offer the Raven every possible escape route. Or we can bring him to justice right here.
Oh, but just get this straight. I'll keep an eye on you, and if you try...
Is
just unconscious. Perhaps he can tell...
Excellent.
Don't act all innocent. It was you.
I was in the treasure chamber with the director. You, on the other hand, had every...
I found him unconscious. I wanted to open the gate.
And make it easier for the...
That does it. On the floor. Hands behind your head.
Why aren't you...
What are you talking about? The Grand Prix.
What? I'll try to open the gate to the I'd appreciate it.
No tricks, Elmer. And if you don't...
Of Constable Oliver can't honestly think that I'm the Raven. He must realize that I never had a although he may think that I could be an accomplice.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm searching for a way...
Ay, mierda, tío.
I'll give you 5 minutes.
Let's hope for both us.
Nerea. Cookies. Cookies. Nerea. ¿Quieres salchichitas? ¿Eh? ¿Te las calienta el papi? Venga, que las tienes aquí ya preparadas en la mesa. Mi vida. Venga, voy enchufando la luz. Y te voy a calentar las salchichitas. Venga. salchichas. Venga, despiértate, cariño. Las salchichitas. ¿Quieres, cariño? ¿Qué le pasa? ¿Eh? ¿Quieres dormir? ¿Quieres salchichitas? Toma, aquí están. ¿Te ves sentadita aquí en el sofá? Entonces bien, te doy algo, cariño. Venga, levántate. Mira, que se lo puedo dar salchichas. ¿Te va a tan fácil? Y te sientes aquí. Vale. ¿Te pongo dibujos? Venga, vamos a ponerte dibujos.